Here are some things not to do if you don't want to mess up your audio. We're going to be talking about mic placement. The first thing is distance matters. If you're using a microphone, you want to be usually about a hand span's width away from the microphone capsule. So usually you do a distance like this and measure it and then speak into the microphone capsule that way. 2, the angle and alignment does matter. Let me explain what I mean. When speaking into a microphone, you don't actually need to speak directly into the microphone. That can actually cause problems. For example, plosives, so the strong P and V sounds that come in when you're recording. If you want to avoid that, there are 2 things you can do. The first would be to add a pop filter so that you don't have to deal with that. The second thing, however, would be to speak at an angle to the microphone. So imagine this was the microphone, right? The microphone capsule is my thumb, speaking directly to it right here. But if I wanted to improve the sound and make sure that I don't get plosives coming into my recording, all I'd have to do is tilt my mouth slightly at an angle, or tilt the microphone to be slightly at an angle, and then speak just about past it. What that means is that the gusts of air or wind that come from my mouth when I'm speaking don't hit the capsule directly. Instead, they go past it, but the microphone still picks it. And in doing that, it then means that I reduce the likelihood of plosives coming into the recording. Try it out and let me know in the comments if it actually helps you. All right, let's move on to the next tip. So the next tip is about inconsistent placement. So when you're recording voiceovers, particularly when you're recording over a few days, there's a very high chance that you might move positions when you're speaking or change the angles. Now that brings about some, what I say, interesting issues. The major issue is the fact that it then means that you are not giving a consistent sound, right? Let's say, for example, the best way to illustrate it is if I'm speaking directly into a microphone and something gets my attention and I keep talking, but then I turn away from the microphone, you'll see that the sound sounds different, even with this clip-on microphone I'm using right here. Because once I turn away, the angle at which the audio is being recorded, if it's not a omnidirectional microphone, can be affected. So a lot of condenser microphones that we use as voiceover artists have a certain pattern that take a certain, width in front of the microphone, but anything to the sides and to the back gets rejected in a sense. And that's to make sure that the audio being recorded is good. But then if you're not facing the microphone in the way you should be facing it, that would then lead to just having inconsistent audio. Let's move on. The next is looking at acoustic treatment. And this is probably something I would say is actually high up there in terms of importance. Let me explain. So no matter how good your recording is, and no matter the quality of delivery you're able to give, the amount of energy you're able to give to a character, for example, maybe you're doing an audiobook, if the recording environment is not good, the audio is not going to sound great. They often say that it's better to have a well-treated room and an average microphone than to have the best microphone ever and a poorly treated room. What am I trying to tell you there? So it's just to make sure that when you're recording, you want to make sure that there are at least soft furnishings around to reduce the sound bouncing off bare walls. And in a case where you are doing just voiceover and not video, then you can afford to even close off the room walls away from you even more. And something as simple as recording against soft furnishings, or where, for example, between 2 pillows, just something to cushion the sound such that it's not bouncing all around. You will actually get better audio. That's why some people choose to record in their closets, because it just gives better audio. But that's to tell you the importance of recording in a treated environment. So bear that in mind. All right. I hope that was helpful. Let me know in the comments. I'd appreciate it. And by the way, if you're interested in learning more about voiceovers, sign up to the Voiceover 101 course starting soon. Check the link in the description or the pinned comment. I'll catch you in the next one. By the way, you might want to check out a video that's going to appear probably on one of the sides of your screen. Not sure which. I think you're going to enjoy it. All right, I'll catch you in the next one.